it is time again for the weekly hot takes with Kari and Keelan. This is going to be our 12th episode this week. I am Kari Rae Davis with Kari Sells the City and Keller Williams.
And I'm Keelan Harvey with the Harvey Home Team in Highlands Residential.
Well, Keelan, I know that there was a Fed meeting earlier this week, and so I'm really excited to share with everybody what you think is going to be happening and where rates are at, as the Fed did not raise rates for the third time. Is that correct?
Yes, spot on. This was super anticipated. This was the last meeting of the year, and we got a hot jobs report on Friday, and then bad inflation report on Tuesday. So we were all curious on what was going to happen on Wednesday when the Fed meeting came about, and we were all convinced he wasn't going to raise rates. But it's really like everybody's hanging on to every little word that Powell says right now. The whole market will react emotionally to it. Can really affect mortgage rates, and it definitely did, and for the best. We're really excited. He not only did he not raise, not only did he not raise rates, but he also talked about cuts, which
Okay.
Powell's like super hardcore, like general, like we're gonna smash inflation, and he's all aggressive about it,
Right.
and too much so as far as the opinion of all of us that really know how the economy is, and maybe he's overdoing it. And this was the most dovish, which means like softest he's been on any meeting yet, and he talked about cuts next year, which is fantastic. And we've already talked about that in previous episodes about how we're certain that there's going to be cuts, but for it to come out of his mouth is huge. So we saw a seven, actually the day ended like it was started like 70, it was 70 basis points by the end of that day, which is a huge, nice improvement, and more or less reiterates where mortgage rates are going, and that we're correct and the media is wrong. Haha. uh, that mortgage rates are on the way down. I mean, everything's indicating that we're on the way down at the end of this year. So,
Well, I'm happy to hear that. I mean, it's just nice to know that there's a little bit of relief out there for buyers. So you and I were chatting a little bit earlier today about this as we were preparing for this. And what did you say? So rates are, where are they at right now, and where were they, let's say, just like a month ago? I mean, it's happening, the decline is happening quite quickly, isn't it?
well, yeah, and I hate quoting rates because everybody's different, but
Right.
generally speaking, I mean, there's companies over eight just not even that long ago, like a month ago,
Okay.
and we are in the sixes. Like I quoted one today, it's 6.625, which just to see that, it's freaking amazing. Like I'm just so happy. And if you look at the overall trend, it's really about establishing new highs and lows. Rates change every single day.
Right.
But day after day after day, since about the end of October, we've really been trending in the right direction, which, like I said, it reiterates that we're heading in the right direction with rates. And this is going to be huge for everybody out there that's looking to buy. I know it's the holidays, but let me tell you, and Kari Rae, I want you to reiterate this. Is it a good time to buy right now?
Yes, it is a good time to buy. Deals can be had.
Yeah, I mean, right now, everybody's, a lot of people are checked out, right? We know rates are going to go down. And I think after the holidays, especially, people
Mhm.
know rates are getting a little bit better. But I think once everybody gets back in the game and realizes how much rates have gotten better and how quickly, I think there's going to be a lot of people in the mix, which could mean multiple offers. We're still low on inventory.
Right.
So, I feel like now's the buyers out there that can be getting seller credits or a better purchase price. If
Yeah.
you can swoop in there before this happens, I mean, it always proves correct. The best time to buy real estate is today and yesterday,
Right.
just based on the cost of waiting. And but more specifically, what's this Fed meeting was huge this week, and what we think is going to be happening, what we know is going to be happening with the market in the future. And, I think a lot of people will come back and be like, man, and we're going to have to say, unfortunately, I told you so. And it's not the first time, you
Right.
know?
Well, the thing is we've been in this business for a while and we see how cyclical it is, and everything, comes back around and the pendulum swings, like we've always, we've said before. But I agree, like right now I'm even going through expired listings for some of my buyers to see if I can
Mhm.
dig up something that maybe the seller got a little annoyed or frustrated, like just before Thanksgiving or in November, to see if we can maybe dig up, some opportunities that aren't on the market currently, but the seller definitely still wants to sell, but with the holidays, they just decided they wanted to pump the brakes on their own time. So, I mean, I think if you can get creative and you're serious, definitely is the time to start to think about putting something in if you can.
Well, you remember the time when people were they were waiting for lower purchase prices, like rates were super low and they're just like, oh no, I want to wait for prices to come down.
Yeah,
They never came down, and then now they bought with a 2% higher interest rate or even higher,
right.
which is a big mistake. So we were in that camp. Now they're coming back being like, man, I should have bought. Now, told you so. And now is this it's same scenario.
Right.
You're going to wait for lower interest rates and purchase prices are going to go through the roof. And so you're really stepping over dollars for not even quarters. I would say dollars for pennies
Right.
at this point because, you know, purchase prices are in the tens of thousands, as far as shifts. How much do you typically reduce a price by if it's not selling, Carrie? 25, 50 grand?
It depends on the home, but like some of the strategy is if you want to list a property when you want to relist it with a new MLS number, you have to drop the price by at least 5%. And it doesn't sound like a lot, but it can, when you're looking at numbers, it's a little bit of a haircut. So, I mean, if you want to drop it at least 5%, then you can get a new MLS number and help it look like it looks better. But I think when you are doing a price drop, it needs to be noticeable to a buyer. It needs to be something where they see it. It can't just be like $5,000. That's kind of pennies, right? That's like negotiating your closing costs. I
Yeah.
think you need to be doing, a significant, 10, 15, 20,000, depending on the price of the home. But yeah, you don't want to just do little tiny trims, because then you're constantly trimming. And instead of just doing a drop and making somebody see it be, they see it as, oh, it's $30,000 less than it was. This is the time to go in and make an offer. And then maybe it could get into another bidding war where you get bid back up again. So you have to be strategic in your price drops, but you want to make it significant where it's noticeable and people are like, hey, they clearly are trying to make something happen.
Yeah, and I mean, and like you just said, the opposite's going to happen. If you get into a bidding war, now it's going to go up by 25 or 50 grand, very quickly. We saw hundreds of thousands of dollars when things were crazy,
Right.
where that market's going to come back, mark my words. And so things can get crazy pretty quick. You talk about 1% rate, depending on how big your loan is, you're talking about 100, $200,
Right.
as opposed to 50 to 100,000 a purchase price. So, if you're serious about wanting to buy a home and get the best deal,
Right.
right? It really comes down to, we always say it, marry the price, date the rate. You're stuck with that purchase price. You get a good purchase price, we're on our way back down. We reiterated this week, we're on our way back down. Mr. Powell
Like,
said it himself,
we're
Mr. Grinch.
well, it's just like, this is the time that we're in. And that's why, I think these weekly conversations are important, because I just want to talk about what's happening right now, besides educating people on, loan options and things to do to get creative to buy a house. I mean, we're doing a weekly conversation so we can kind of follow what the market's doing. These are all, we've got good information in our other videos too, but a lot of the time it's just, what's happening right now. And right now, interest rates are coming down. So, and I think that, if people aren't paying attention and they blink or they look away for a little too long, might miss opportunities. And that's why, just keep looking, make sure you're communicating with your agent if you find something. Some of these homes that I've been doing opens at, these really beautiful homes, they're getting under contract right before the Christmas season, because people are seeing that this is a chance to get a really great home at, a pretty great price. Yeah, you might pay a little bit more in interest right now, but watching the rates come down, I mean, it's better than what it was in October. So,
Yeah, and I think I want to address too. People on the other end of this conversation might be, oh, easy for you to say. You're in the industry, you want to have a transaction happen, you want to make some money. Which
right.
the reality is, I would challenge you to reach out. I'd love to show you the data.
Hmm.
My why is I care about people. I want to overperform and get you the best deal possible.
Right.
People first, always. I don't care when we do a transaction. All I care about is doing the best I can for you, because if I do a great job for you, then you're going to introduce me to other people. It's a relationship business. And I love to have a conversation after the fact of, wow, look at how much our lives have improved because of the wealth we built through real estate. So, the data doesn't lie, and that's by no means our intention, is like this urgency that you need to buy for our own self good.
That's not what it
It's
is.
far
Yeah.
from the truth. We care, and I'm telling you, like, this from my heart, this is going to save you money. I promise
Right.
you will pay for more for a house. Mark my words. Put it down in your calendar. Call Keelan in six
Mark
months.
my words, right?
Mark my words. Yeah, you'll pay more if you wait. I promise you.
Well, and the thing is as an agent, one of the roles that I perform for my clients is to give them good advice and to try and guide them and give them information so they can make their own educated decisions. It's never about trying to get something into something. It's more like, here's an opportunity. Does it look good to you? Does it pencil out? Do you love it? And go from that standpoint. And right now it's just, there's a lot of people that decided they wanted to wait, and it's hard when you see what's happening and you can kind of anticipate what's going to happen. Granted, we can't look into the crystal ball, which is a saying that people in real estate say all the time, but we know the trends. And I mean, it'll be very curious to have another conversation in the next couple of weeks to see what happens and see what kind of activity levels are coming up and how many more listings are coming out on the market. So I know that's what I look at a lot of the time, daily on the MLS, is how many new houses have come out, what's pending, and it's definitely, only in double digits, where in other times it's been, higher than that. But things are moving. So if you see something that catches your eye, don't sit on your haunches and say, oh, well, we'll get to it after Christmas. You might want to call your agent, just say, hey, can we get in and take a peek at that really quick to see if it's the right fit? So don't miss out on these opportunities that are here right now. So
Absolutely. Mark Twain said it best. He said, history doesn't repeat itself, but it rhymes. So
mm,
we look at history of real estate, and if you're ever curious, we have a lot of data and tools. I'll show you the history. I'll show you it's repeated itself
right.
in real estate over and over again. We don't have a crystal ball, and it doesn't happen exactly like we would expect it to happen, but it happens pretty darn close. And if you, even in our short time, what is this, our 12th? Is this our 12th episode?
Yeah, it's only our 12th episode.
12th
But
episode.
still, it's 12.
Some of the things, even in this short amount of time, I said have come true.
Right.
So the reality is, we know, and we're educated. We're looking beyond the media. I'm an expert as a certified mortgage advisor. Kari Rae's an expert. We've been doing this a long time. We're looking between all the media and all the hotlines, headlines and things, to
Right.
do what's best and give the best advice. The reality is, putting myself out there is kind of scary that way, because I could be wrong, right? And so I'm standing by my word, and
Well, you're
it's
also
proven.
looking at the data. We're not just pulling this information out of thin air. I mean, we're watching the
Yeah,
trends and we're seeing what's happening, and you
yeah,
can't help it. You can't argue with the data. And that's why when you put a CMA together for a client that wants to sell their home, we're looking at the data. That's what we're looking at to see what your home is going to sell at. Same sort of scenario when you're looking at rates. So,
absolutely. I mean, you just show the facts, right? Here's where
right.
we're at. Here's what
Present.
it is. Yeah, here it is. Make our customers the experts so they can make the correct decision for their family, because not one scenario is ever going to be alike. That's why I
Right.
love our jobs, actually. It's like a story problem every time. It's fun.
Very different variables every time for sure.
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
well, I think that's really our news for this week. We're getting coming up on the holidays, so I feel like we might be saying the same thing for a little bit. But if anybody's got questions, if they've got a specific, topic they may want to hear about, Keelan and I are happy to address any of your questions or answer any questions you have. If you're interested in buying or selling, please do give me a call. You can reach me at 206-330-6985.
And you can get me at 206-321-4941.
Okay, well, Keelan, hopefully next week we hear that rates are still coming down, right? Further.
Yeah, I'm sure we will. I'm not even concerned about it.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, well, you have a good weekend this weekend, okay?
Yeah, you too.
Okay, thank you. Mhm. Bye.